Hey everybody, Dr. Colleen Sierra here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and the founder and executive director of Sierra Center for Behavioral Health. Happy Thursday. Today I wanted to come on and talk about something that's been on my mind a lot, and it's codependency. Is that a term you guys are familiar with? I'm thinking about it a lot as it applies to me and my life and how it's showing up right now in my relationships. And I'm reading this book. It's called Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. I think that's what it is, at least. Melody Beattie. And it was written a long time ago, but there's still a lot of really good stuff to take away from it. So if this talk winds up being something that you resonate with, I really recommend reading that book, Codependent No More. So what is codependency? It's essentially when we're more wrapped up in someone else's life, in their thoughts and their feelings and their behavior and their choices, than we are in our own. So as a result, we typically wind up pretty unhappy rather, because anytime we're working to control something or someone outside of our control, that's always a losing battle, right? Because we can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So codependency is complicated, but I think that's really boiling it down to the main point, when we're more invested in someone else's life than we are in our own. So where does that stem from? What's that about? It's typically born out of a situation when we as a child, we were in a position where an adult that was supposed to take care of us really wasn't able to. And this could be for a lot of different reasons. Codependency comes out of substance abuse, chemical dependency, alcoholic research and data, where people who were treating alcoholics and people who were addicted to some substance were noticing that the people that lived with them were also really struggling in different and interesting ways. And we've come to understand this as codependency. So sometimes people become codependent because they had a parent or caregiver who struggled with substance abuse or chemical dependency, but that isn't always what it is. That's not always where it comes from. It can also be where a parent or a caregiver had a major medical health issue that prevented them from really being able to be engaged and attuned. It can be a major mental health issue. It can be sometimes having parents who were adult children of alcoholics themselves, and therefore substance abuse dynamics are just baked into the family, even though somebody is not actively abusing substances or actively abusing substances to the extent that their parents were. So these are all the kinds of situations that can create a system of codependent behavior dynamics. But regardless of what created the codependent tendencies, it typically means that we as children were either taking care of an adult, or simply not getting our needs met, or simply not getting our needs met, either physically and or emotionally, which is really an important piece of that. So essentially, codependents have been through some shit, some really hard shit, some serious shit. And the way that we've learned how to deal with that is by trying to control other people in the service of helping them. Only we're not helping them, and we're typically hurting ourselves along the way. So that's codependency and where it typically stems from. So what do we do about it? There's a lot more to explore before we jump into that. But I think we can all start by just thinking about our own lives, experiences, and families. Is there someone in your life who you just worry about all the time? And because you're worried about them, you maybe ask a lot of questions about their choices. You're giving them a lot of advice. You're always suggesting things. You're trying to help. Someone in your life that you feel really victimized by, that you feel like you give and give and give to, but you don't ever really get back. And you're angry about that, or you're sad about that, or you feel betrayed because of that. Someone you're always trying to help in your life, but they don't really accept your help, or they don't seem grateful for your help. And in fact, maybe they get angry at you when you're just trying to help. these are all good things for you to reflect on. And I think is a nice place to start in exploring this idea of codependency. It's really, really interesting. If it resonates for you, again, think about getting codependent no more. Something to think about.